What's up, Fusion? What's up, Diego? What is up, everybody? Okay. Let me close Twitter, and then, okay. Let's see. CBR, I think, would be a good start today. And by the way, for those of you who probably want to know where Drew is right now, he's at a family reunion right now. He has a family reunion, so he's not going to be able to talk for the rest of the week. That's all. But yeah, let's the 7 Hokages ranked by power. Okay, we can look at this. Alright, so we're gonna be looking at the video we're gonna be looking at today is gonna be this one. So the 7 Hokages ranked by power. Let's take a look at this.
Pure world reincarnation. We at CBR have done the impossible. By borrowing a few of Kabuto's notes and making some slight improvements, we have brought back to life all of the previous Hokage, as well as grabbed Kakashi, Tsunade, and Naruto from their village duties. Why? Because in today's video, the 7 Hokage will duke it out in an all-out brawl.
Okay, but what are the rules? Are we talking about them at their current peak, or are we talking about their current power level, or are we talking about them at their Are we talking about them at their absolute peak? Because my own opinion here is that again, last time they just did not make a lot of logic clear in when they're ranking the Hokages based on power, because we're bringing up KCM Minato with his feats. I think it's a little bit more than fair to bring up Kakashi's to bring up DMS Kakashi, who I would argue is a lot more powerful than a lot of these other characters. And, because Minato physically wasn't a Hokage at that point in time, and he didn't have that while he was alive. The thing is that the inconsistencies in logic were just, a little bit off to me. I feel if people are, ranking, off of, what's strong based off of, peak, DMS Kakashi should literally be, number 2 right behind Naruto.
To prove who is the strongest Hokage of them all. Who will come out on top? Will it be the Hokage who's sky high in debt, or the copy ninja of the Hidden Leaf? Let's find out. That's it! First to be knocked out of our Hokage Battle Royale is Kakashi Hatake.
Alright, let's look at their logic here. So, the moment that I hear someone bring up I hear these people bring up KCM Minato, this will completely invalidate this section, completely. But, but here's the thing I always will, always say. Kakashi at his current level in Boruto, for being fair here, and the ability to spam Conway would beat Tsunade, and I feel even in Boruto he definitely still beats Tsunade, so I just don't fully agree with this, considering not only does Kakashi did lose a Sharingan, but he made Purple Lightning a thing, and at the same time he's also bullshitting the light novels as well. And also to add on to that as well, to add on top of that, I also literally would also argue that without the stamina constraints of the Sharingan, even though it's a good tool for him, there were massive stamina constraints. Kakashi doesn't have to worry about chakra as much as he used to, so he could as he used to. So I honestly feel there is an advantage, an argument to make about Kakashi currently being Tsunade. But then the next question then becomes okay, are they, if we're also talking being fair here, are we going to use the strongest version of Kakashi versus everyone else?
Okay, now don't get me wrong, when it comes to Shinobi, Kakashi is one of the strongest of the strong. That doesn't mean that he's the strongest Hokage though, but we can give credit where credit is due. The man is feared all throughout the land, and his resume shows why. At a young 10 years old, Kakashi was already a Jonin, the highest rank of ninja next to Hokage, and became captain of the Anbu Black Ops at 13. Why? It's because Kakashi can essentially use any jutsu known amongst shinobi. Infamously known as the copy ninja due to his Sharingan, Kakashi has successfully copied over 1,000 jutsu at a speed just as fast or faster than his opponents. And
they're not wrong, but with some of the information they're presenting so far, but again, it's just I'm just trying to figure out, are they going to include Kakashi in his absolute prime, or if their powers when they were Kage? Because if we're going to be very real about KCM Minato, he did not have that while he was Kage. He had that while he was an Edo Tensei. And there was something that was sealed inside of him.
These jutsu aren't just in one elemental.
Bruh, Hokage Kakashi absolutely smacks Tsunade, Hokage Tsunade into oblivion. He still has 1,000 plus jutsus and could do hand signs at insane speeds. Yeah, number 7 is just like is a bit too low. I think Tsunade, and I'm not trying to be mean here because she has a lot of great feats against Madara and such, but I feel like Kakashi just has like an advantage over Tsunade to me.
Release. As a whole, his jutsu catalog ranges between all 5 basic elemental releases, and he created one of the most infamous jutsu known among shinobi. What's the fastest way to a girl's heart? Chidori. But let's talk more about that Sharingan for a moment. Sharing 0 ties to the Uchiha, Kakashi shouldn't have been able to do as much as he did. However, he made the dojutsu his own despite the limited amount of—
Okay, so you're talking about all of this and adding the Sharingan, but you're not talking about DMS, but you're not bringing up DMS Kakashi, who, like, washes so many people on this list besides freaking Naruto.
Of chakra he had. I mean, the guy was able to use Susanoo when he possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan in both—
Okay, there we go.
—thighs. Losing his Sharingan post the 4th Shinobi World War is a big reason towards Kakashi's early exit. Despite—
Again, though, like, I feel like that despite Kakashi not having the Sharingan, he'd still beat Tsunade. I don't think he'd beat Hiruzen. I don't think he'd beat Tobirama. I don't think he'd beat Hashirama Minato, Hashirama, and freaking Naruto. But
that Kakashi will always be one of the greats whose devotion to teamwork, selflessness, and care for others allowed him to become the 6th Hokage and one of my personal favorites.
Again, once they bring up Casey and Minato, their logic is going to be like contradicted. Because again, if we're talking about them while they're Kage, Minato did not have KCM while he was alive, and really was only able to get stronger while he was dead, while he was no longer the official Hokage.
As the granddaughter of the legend—
As Hokage, Naruto won 2 Hashirama, 3 Minato, 4 Toyarama, 5 Hiruzen, 6 Kakashi, 7 Tsunade. Toyarama versus Hiruzen's a bit of an interesting debate. Obito about to go wild with these quotes. Oh my god. And then most powerful, Naruto, DMS Kakashi, Hiruzen at number 3, 4 is Hashirama, 5 is Toyarama. Wait, let me double check this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, you're missing one. Wait, you're missing one, Thomas. I think you missed Minato. You missed Minato. I think KCM Minato is stronger than both Hashirama and Hiruzen. So, but he's below DMS Kakashi and he's also below Naruto. So, my personal order, if we're ranking these Kage, like, not while Kage, but in their absolute peak, 1, Naruto, which would probably be while, and arguably I put him in, like, the final valley, which because of the truth-seeking orbs, but also, you could also argue Boruto. I don't think, it's a bit interesting debate I feel like people could have. 2 would be DMS Kakashi, 3 is definitely Casey and Minato, 4 it's between Hashirama and Hiruzen. I would personally give the edge to Hashirama, but it's a bit or Hiruzen. It's a bit of a tough debate. 4 and 5 I feel like are interchangeable though. Hashirama and Hiruzen are pretty interchangeable for me. And then like 6 and 7 has to go to Toyarama and then Tsunade. I don't like putting Tsunade that low, but I feel like she is the weakest Kage out of the bunch.
Legendary first Hokage Hashirama Senju, Tsunade is a beast of a shinobi who should not be taken lightly.
In absolute peak, we haven't seen Hiruzen at his peak completely, so I don't think that's completely fair. But I also would say that, like, him being called the god of shinobi when Hashirama was a thing, it definitely kind of speaks to his power, in my opinion. And also him being like one of the few shinobi that can utilize like all 5 nature transformations is just like completely ridiculous to me, and he's freaking absurd. And also being one of the few characters that's also been shown to use the Reaper Death Seal. Although, depending on when he got that, is a bit of a different question. I feel like, it's a bit of an interesting debate. I feel like, in between, I always will say that, like, if we're just looking at scaling feats and whatever, yeah, alright, I will agree that that's a good list, though. I honestly, Toriyama's a bit hard for me to, like, rank to me, because, like, I don't think that Toriyama's weak at all. I just don't know how to, like, rank him in the face of, like, 5 of Kage, like Hiruzen, Hashirama. It's just hard to rank him below in, like, in places with, like, freaking, in a village with, like, freaking Minato, Hiruzen, Hashirama, Naruto, freaking Kakashi with DMS, or even with or his purple lightning even. Like, it's absolute, like, the Leaf Village, let's be very real, has so many bullshit Kages, man. It's just ridiculous. Like, how do you go on a run where you have, like, 6 of probably the top 10 shinobi of all time? At least in my opinion. It's like, you got Madara, Sasuke there, and I guess Kage would be there as well. But, like, how do you go on a run where you could argue that you have, like, 6 of the top 10 shinobi of all time? I mean, it's probably not that way, but you could actually argue that to me, you know? Or if we're even, like, saying the bare minimum, 6 of the strongest shinobi of all time in their top 15! Like, you make up, like, nearly half the list! It's like the freaking NBA where you have, like, the Lakers and the Celtics literally dominate the entire finals matches, except guess what? There's one fucking team that dominates the list! Or if you're like freaking Tom Brady, you have like 7 of Super Bowls on you, and you dominate the entire NFL for like how long? It's ridiculous!
Hailed as one of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade's accomplishments range wide, many regarding her as the reason why the Leaf was able to win the Second Shinobi World War. However, if you were to ask her, the one she would be the most proud of is her advancements in medical nin. We should note that Tsunade,
and she still should not be above Kakashi,
is the reason that...
In fact, if we're just like talking at them at like their Kage peaks or whatever, I would definitely still give the advantage to Kakashi by the time we especially get to like with like purple lighting and shit.
Lee was ever able to grace the stage as a ninja again, healed the psychological damage of the Tsukuyomi, and was...
Well, partially, but Sasuke was still traumatized.
Even thought to be able to heal Orochimaru's arms, which were sealed away by the Reaper Death Seal. But this video isn't about accomplishments though. It's about strength, and Tsunade has plenty of it due to the Strength of 100 seal.
Congratulations! She still should not be above Kakashi.
This technique allows the Lady Senju to store chakra into the seal on her forehead, which can be released at any time, multiplying her chakra 100 times over, adding to her already...
In my opinion, Hokage Naruto is way above Final Valley Naruto and is closer to Kaguya. I agree with that in terms of raw power. It's just, like, very hard for me to make that debate, because I was, like, talking about this with someone, and it's, like, the other thing that you have to, like, remember is that, Final Valley Naruto had access to the True Seeking Orbs, which are just, like, completely broken in of itself. And losing that hack is a little bit, like, not great, in my opinion, but I also will say that, I don't know how much of a complete impact that makes, considering, I feel like Hokage Naruto has a lot more raw power, but I feel like Final Valley Naruto has a lot more hacks and has some more hacks going for him. But I feel like I think it's a little bit interchangeable when you're talking about that.
Insane strength. Alone, she's been able to split the ground with a finger and make Jiraiya take a trip to the ER with several broken ribs, arms, and ruptured organs. With the seal, she has been...
Actually, say there is something you should know. What is that?
able to break through the Susanoo. Did we mention she's also essentially immortal? Her ultimate technique is the ninja art Creation Rebirth, Strength of 100 technique, which
They didn't have them in the Final Valley from Kageki's fight from the Sage took back the sealing powers. No, they did not. Otherwise, Sasuke would have literally would not have his Rinnegan. Like Naruto, like Sasuke still awakened his Rinnegan and still has his powers, and Naruto didn't just lose his freaking Sage 6 Pass mode at all. That did not happen. That did not happen. They still have the abilities of the Sasuke still has a Rinnegan, and Naruto still had Sage 6 Pass mode. But I don't think it matters, though, because, like, I feel like arguably you could say Boruto Naruto's even stronger, and I don't think...
which essentially allows her to
Yeah, he could. Yeah, it's like, and he didn't take him back, especially, like, y'all are crazy.
Honestly, heal any injury...
The, like, debate...
without hand sign or effort, as long as she has chakra. With that, Tsunade should have this tournament in the bag. Well, that would be the case if her sensei didn't have something to say about it.
Professor. I'm gonna be very real right now. It is like, I feel this is the one list that actually gives some respect to Tobirama, to be honest. I'm actually happy about that, because this is like the one list that I feel like gives some respect to Tobirama, but it's like, it's very hard for me to like debate as to like whether or not Tobirama is actually stronger than Hiruzen. I think let's see.
Hailing as the
I don't know why Naruto didn't fight Kobe with Sage 6 Pass mode and board, so it's a form stronger than KCM Sage mode. That's a decent... The thing is, like... The thing that's always been in debate that when I've talked to people said, like, Naruto hasn't lost Sage 6 Pass mode, but he's lost the ability... But he's lost his True Seeking Orbs. Because I guess it was just, like, in some limited capacity. There was, like, a BXZ video that actually talked about this. I could actually show you all that sometime. To kind of, like, more explain this in depth, because, like, I don't really have that ability to do so as well as BXZ did. But I could show you guys a video about that.
third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, is renowned as the...
But like, off of, like, let's get off of Naruto's orbs and shit. I mean, Hinata likes his orbs, but, like, let's get off his orbs for a second. And just, like, and let's talk about, freaking, y'all know, let's talk about where we're putting these guys. This is, like, the one list that actually puts some respect on Tobirama's name, and yet I don't fully think it's, like, correct. I think Tobirama is, like, very, very strong, but
Hiruzen Sarutobi is renowned as the professor,
but there are a lot of databook statements that kind of show that Hiruzen was just a menace of his own right,
and shares the nickname God of all Shinobi with Hashirama Senju.
So why is he below Tobirama?
Said that in his prime, Lord Third was stronger than any Hokage who came before, including Hashirama, which says a lot. However, this strength was never seen in the anime, and at the time of his revival, Hiruzen is hovering around 60 to 70 years old, giving reason to why he's next to take a seat on the sideline. Or at least in a deadlock battle with the next entry on this list. His age
said Hiruzen
doesn't do him justice, though. We have to remember that when Orochimaru attacked the Hidden Leaf during the Chunin exams, not only did the third Hokage take him on and seal his arms, but he also took on and sealed away a reanimated Hashirama and Tobirama alone. The nickname The Professor personifies...
And this was, by the way, when he was out of his prime and with, like, an imperfect... out of his prime. It was a bit of an imperfect Edo Tensei compared to, like, what we see of it nowadays, but this is still ridiculous.
His mastery of essentially every jutsu, technique, and combat form that exists in
I honestly believe, though, I feel like this is not correct. I like that they're giving respect to Tobirama, but I don't think this is correct at all. I'm gonna say that, like, Hiruzen should be ranked number 4 free at most. At most, he should be ranked number... Because I always, like, interchange Hashirama and Tobi and Hiruzen, but I feel like Tobirama needs to be dropped down to 5. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Tobirama at all. He's very, very... He's not weak at all in comparison to, like, what people think of him as. Because of, like, his negative feat, quote-unquote, against Kenku and Gingaku. But it's just, like... I don't think that he should be above Hiruzen, is my thing.
Konohagakure. Well, it explains where Orochimaru got his obsession for jutsu from.
Wait, did he say Hiruzen?
Like Orochimaru, if Hiruzen wanted to, he could learn every jutsu known to man. The late Sarutobi's intellect allows him to deduce the mechanics behind a technique by simply seeing the required hand signs. Even with something he's never seen before, such as the truth-seeking balls, he could understand everything about them from just a glance. As a master of all 5 elemental releases as well, Hiruzen Sarutobi is a force that would be difficult for any shinobi to defeat, and if he was in his prime, it is no question that he may be able to win this whole thing. Sadly, that is not the case, but up against our next entry, things could go either way.
There hasn't been, like, any direct statements that Naruto or Sasuke lost that shit. They didn't. There hasn't been any direct statements talking about that at all. I honestly feel like that the major problem, I think, is like, I think that, like, I feel like, a BXZ video would actually be a better way to, like, describe this, but I'm not really in the mood to talk about, like, the intricacies of Naruto having CS6 pass mode or not. It's just, I'm just not interested in that at all today. I'm, like, not interested.
As we mentioned before, Hiruzen Sarutobi was said to be stronger than the first and second Hokage in his prime. Given his old age, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, now might have a slight edge.
What?
Before, Hiruzen Sarutobi was said to be stronger than the first and second Hokage in his prime.
If we're, like, talking about that shit, then, like, why the hell is, like, Hiruzen, like, below freaking Tobirama? Like, are we really talking about him, like, because he was Hokage before, you know that, right? So if we're, like, basing off of that logic, he should at least be above Tobirama. Now, I feel like that it's very debatable. For me, it's debatable as to, like, whether... For me, Hiruzen and Hashirama are very interchangeable, but, like, there's just no way that you can just, like, say that and just put Hiruzen below Tobirama when he was a Kage when he was still a Kage before in his prime.
In his old age, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, now might have a slight edge. When we speak of jutsu, a lot of credit has to go to Tobirama because it's likely that he's the one who created it. Some of our favorite techniques, such as multi-shadow clone jutsu, impure world reincarnation, and...
I don't know if impure world reincarnation is one of our favorite. This is one of our favorite. Well, actually, I like impure world reincarnation a lot, but the one thing is just, like, about that technique, though, is just, like, it is just a very unholy technique. It is so cool.
Flying Thunder God, which Minato made
I don't know.
Popular, all stem from his mind. Like his predecessor, Tobirama is a master of all 5 elemental releases, specializing in water release, and could use water-style jutsu regardless if water was nearby. Also, if you caught this man in his...
I mean, like, my thing with, like, impure world reincarnations, I just have, like, certain things about, like, messing with the dead and shit, but at the same time, it's such a great jutsu, you know?
Prime, whew, you would be in some trouble. Lord Second is in a special class of his own, being one of the few who could perform jutsu.
Hey, what's up, Gurren guy?
In terms of strength, his power rivaled that of Madara before obtaining the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and his speed
It's just a very unholy technique.
As we mentioned before,
bro, Fusion, stop.
The second Hokage was the first to develop the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, which allowed him to blitz all and any opponent at what seems to be the speed of light. His specific technique, the Flying Thunder God Slash, allowed Lord Second to slash down any opponents in front of him and acted as the perfect counter to the Sharingan's ability to predict movement. As a Hokage...
Again, though, why is he above freaking Hiruzen?
I think we can all agree that Tobirama made some mistakes. However, none of us can question his status and skill as a warrior. However, based on our list, it's not enough to win him this tournament because someone is doing what he can do even better. Where do you...
If they bring up Casey and Minato, again, I'm going to literally just put in fucking DMS Kakashi, and this list gets completely invalidated.
Even begin in discussing the prodigy known as Minato Namikaze, aka the 4th Hokage. Known as the Yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf due to his mastery of the space-time jutsu Flying Thunder God, Minato was a man feared across all villages. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid of a guy who can instantly teleport behind enemy lines and single-handedly take down over 1,000 men? Also, we have to acknowledge that it was this speed, and seemingly this speed alone, that made him so great. Only being a master of 3 elemental release Minato rarely formed hand signs and specialized in hand-to-hand combat. Carrying with him a multitude of specialized triple-pronged kunai, which was marked with a seal for teleportation, the 4th Hokage easily moved across the battlefield, going wherever he threw the kunai or laid out in advance. Now what's really cool about Minato was his ability to take what the 2nd Hokage developed and take it even further.
Yep, but he still shouldn't be below Hashirama. If we're talking KCM.
An example of this is the technique Flying Thunder God Guiding Thunder, which was a barrier jutsu capable of warping away anything that came in contact with it, including a tailed beast ball. Now speaking of the tailed beast, it was Minato who had the strength to seal half of the 9 tails within himself, and even after the fact, sealed the other half within Naruto. Overall, Minato's power is insane, and we are just barely scratching the surface. He's one of the few who's fully earned the respect of the Toad boss Gamabunta, can enter Sage Mode, Ninetales Chakra Mode, and is the creator.
And that's it! So we're putting DMS Kakashi all the way up here at number 2. Congratulations! Again, how is it, like, fair to, like, put a Kage, to, like, not put in DMS Kakashi, and not even mention him and shit, and be like, oh, we can't put him up there because he wasn't a Kage at that point, or and that we're only using when people were Kage. But then use, like, freaking Casey and Minato, who was dead! Dead! And not a Hokage! He was a former Hokage! He wasn't Hokage! He didn't have that as a Hokage. Why are we using KCM mode?
Leader of the Rasengan. If it wasn't for his untimely passing, who really knows how far Minato could have gone? Known as the other god of shinobi, even the first, the creator.
Oh boy. And then Hashirama should not be. First off, alright, real list. Number 1, Naruto. Number 2, freaking DMS Kakashi. Number 3, KCM Minato. Number 4, Hashirama. Number 5, number 4 or 5, Hashirama Hiruzen. Number 6, Tobirama. Number 7, Tsunade. It's just how it is. I don't make the rules. That's it. There you go. I fixed your list for you, CBR. I just fixed it for you.
Of Konohagakure and essentially the ninja world, the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, is one of the greatest shinobi to ever do it. In his era, Hashirama was the most powerful ninja, and the only one whose strength could handle Madara Uchiha, who at the time had the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Nine Tails at his disposal. As the first reincarnation of Asura Otsutsuki, Hashirama's chakra pools were massive, powerful, and dense. Enough so that it could visibly affect the landscape around him. However, his immense chakra pools weren't his greatest strength. That lies in his utilization of Senjutsu, which was something he could utilize instantaneously in his wood release Kekkei Genkai. Being a master of wood release, the first Hokage could create giant tree-like structures that could legitimately shift the entire landscape and defend from attacks such as a tailed beast spawn. He could create wood clones who won't disappear after taking a certain amount of damage, use the human wood technique to create a humanoid creature whose power rivaled the Nine Tails, and so much more. This all pales in comparison to his...
Should not be above freaking Casey and Minato. What in the fuck are we doing? What in the fuck are we doing? Yeah, this video was garbage. Alright. Oh no. Do I dare watch another Amagi video? Do I dare watch another Amagi video? Here we go, boys.
You know, one of the things we love most about Naruto is that he's kind of a dope. At first, he never seemed to get anything right. He was just plain unintelligent.
I really can't just okay, let's start off with this first statement. Naruto being unintelligent. Naruto at times can be a dumbass, but he's not completely stupid. I feel like people who say this shit and like say that Naruto is just like completely it's just like not intelligent or something like that. There's some partial truth to that because he can act like a dumbass sometimes, but at the same time he's shown very good strategy can make strategies on the fly, and he's been able to adapt to everything pretty well, and also can comprehend some certain things pretty well, especially once he's heard it for a while. I mean, like his freaking journey of like trying to make the Rasengan the thing was like learning the Rasengan kind of proves that. So like everything that like is said right there is just completely wrong. And like the thing is that the only reason that people like I feel like it's just not fair for people to just like call Naruto not unintelligent. It's just not accurate to me. I mean, and also like just because someone is struggling at something does not make them unintelligent. I just don't think that that's completely fair.
Well, he had intelligence in his own way, but definitely outside of conventional smarts.
Outside of conventional smarts. But like but the thing is that Naruto is just not very conventional in of itself, he also has been able to do things that can either surprise his opponents or completely win a match with just like not only just like just adapting and shit. Like that's not something that makes him dumb at all. And so like if we're talking about like that from like the ninja perspective, like he's not dumb there. And from an academy perspective and like from a conventional smarts, he's been 50-50 on that at times. He actually can project himself as like as someone who can be aware of certain things at times. He's just like he just can say things that just he just at times says shit that comes out of his mouth that's just like that's just not smart at times, but that doesn't make him a complete dumbass, you know?
He really raised himself. He seemed to be missing that gene. That gene would have been passed down by both Minato and Kushina. Minato's strength and prodigious nature.
Or he tried to take the exam early like a tot. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Or like or there could have been times where he took like the exam where they took like practice exams or some shit, like in order to like practice their shinobi arts or whatever. So no, that 3-year gap and shit, that's not something that is a thing. Like y'all have to like think better about that shit, you know? In the first few yeah, but he also could have theoretically taken the exam earlier. Like clearly, like it's not. There have been like practice exams. There have been like freaking other shit that couldn't be referenced. It doesn't have to be specifically black and white. Oh, I failed the exam 3 times. He could have taken it earlier, like when he was a kid. He could have done it a lot. He could have done. There are a lot of things he could have done. It's just not something that has to be like. I mean, he failed 3 times. Most people would assume that means 3 separate exams. Yeah, but that's also something he could have taken early. I mean, he was at the academy for like 4 fucking years.
And Kushina's smarts. In the end, he was.
Remember the plan to free Kakashi? Yeah, and that was like done by both Naruto and Sasuke too. But like Naruto had the intelligence to like hide himself as like a shuriken, as like a demon wind shuriken. You know what I'm saying? Like
left with whatever wasn't prodigious. Well, I mean, he caught up, but that was through luck and a little Rock Lee style hard work.
That was not luck. I'm sorry. That was not luck. Let's just talk. Now, I'm gonna be very clear about something. In life, there is always going to be a certain amount of luck that's going to determine what you're doing in life, right? But the thing is that you can do certain things that can increase your chances of luck going your way. An example, in a soccer match, you can increase your chances of scoring a winning goal by moving closer to the goal, and if the ball happens to fall towards you, you're in a good position to shoot. Now, it's a risk at times, but that's kind of what happens when you take your own luck. You at times gotta take a gamble at certain things and hope that it can pay off. But at the same time, you also have to find ways to create your own luck, because luck can also be a bit of a cruel mistress. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, you gotta be aware of your situation, what you do best, what you should be doing, and then, see where it takes you. You know what I'm saying? So, when you, look at something... So, it's something that Blue Lock has kind of, opened my eyes to a little bit, because theoretically, yeah, you could say that you could be unlucky one day, but, at certain points, it's with athletes and shit, for example, you gotta put yourself in better positions to have luck happen to you. Because at the end of the day, everything has a bit of a determining luck factor. But what you do to that, how you make certain things go your way, is what's going to determine whether shit's going to, whether you're going to get good luck to happen to you, or whether you're going to get reap the rewards, or if you're just going to sit back and just talk it out and all this other bullshit, you know?
Rock Lee himself lacks a prodigious nature and merely grows due to his desire to be as strong as someone like Neji. So here I sit and wonder what would have happened if Naruto's genes were a little shaken up. What if he had been born a prodigy? Someone with incredible potential that was easily fulfilled due to his natural abilities and smarts. That's what I want to find out today. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, be sure to check and see if you're still subscribed. YouTube lately has been unsubscribing people for whatever reason, and we just want to make sure that you don't miss out on any more of our videos. The Amagi's real was never weak. Kushina gives birth, and right on there to show all of your friends how much. 10th. The day Kushina gives birth.
Alright, so we're gonna go
in
here.
A secret location undisclosed to the public, but still somehow found by Toby. She lays on a slab. By her side was Biwako Sarutobi, the
Oh my god, they're repeating all these fucking events.
wife of the third Hokage and a healing specialist. All the while, Minato was there, but his hands were not holding hers. His hands were pressed to the seal on her stomach. As sweet as this moment was, there was no time to let their guard down. Kurama was a powerful beast, and the seal was never weaker for a woman than when giving birth. Minato, having been taught sealing techniques by his wife alongside the various seals he learned over his impressive career, would stand there and force the seal closed as she gave birth. Despite all of these circumstances surrounding them, they successfully...
You know, the whole being the that didn't guarantee him shit. Being the reincarnation just had his chakra passed down to him and guaranteed him the fate of getting killed by either the reincarnation of Indra, or having to kill the reincarnation of Indra. And then getting the strongest cell beast. Name a time that was more of a fucking curse. What?
successfully gave birth to a baby boy. One who had inherited his father's face but his mother's hair. Kushina beckoned to have her child in her arms, but before the chance came, Toby appeared out of the blue and holds the fresh little...
Upon death, you get revived by the Sage 6. But that, being an Uzumaki and being in his, genes and shit are completely different. And we don't know shit about the Uzumaki clan, really, except they were really good at sealing, and that's about it, because Kishimoto didn't bother to, talk about that. like also like revived by this. Yeah, I have to die to get his chakra. I have to die. Congratulate. And also like literally Sakura's the one who had to literally pump his heart and shit while Minato's like scrambling to make sure that he can transfer the fucking the fox inside of Naruto. Yeah, I really appreciate nearly dying.
Munchkin hostage, threatening to kill it if they didn't hand over Kushina. Minato managed to save Naruto, but in the process lost Kushina.
Like, him being Uzumaki, or like, and him being Uzumaki is a separate issue. Like, that's not, although we don't know shit about the Uzumaki clan, that's a different discussion for another day.
He hurried back to their home, keeping the infant safe as he then rushed off to rescue her. To this, he was successful. However, for all of his wondrous speed, Minato was too slow, and failed to stop Toby from removing the tailed beast from her.
Why are we still talking about this? This is like this is going on for a minute.
He returned her to their home, where he laid her
These are the same events! Why are you repeating them?
beside their child to rest while he went to get the Nine Tails. It rampaged through the streets, trampling people and buildings alike. But Minato, gleaming like the yellow sunrise, appears when the village needs.
Why does Naruto have red hair now? What?
Hair. Kushina beckoned to have her child. Them, they successfully gave birth to a baby boy, one who had inherited his father's face but his mother's hair.
Oh, so Naruto's now new main difference is that he has like his father's face but now has red hair. Okay.
Kushina beckoned to have her child in her arms.
But like, wait, how would that even work? Wait, are you telling me that in order for Naruto to become a prodigy, he has to like have his hair change, has to have his face and hairs change? What?
But before the change,
that's the main thing that was keeping him from being a prodigy? That was it?
Came, Toby appeared out of the blue and holds the fresh little munchkin hostage, threatening to kill it if.
Are you, like, kidding me? The only thing that was preventing Naruto from Hey, guys! The only thing that was preventing Naruto from becoming a prodigy was his hair color and his facial structure. That was it!
If they didn't hand over Kushina. Minato managed to save Naruto, but in the process lost Kushina. He hurried back to their home, keeping the infant safe as he then rushed off to rescue her. To this, he was successful. However, for all of his wondrous...
we know that, but like, well, we know they were wiped out. We don't know like the actual specifics of like what actually happened, but like the thing about the full specifics of like what actually happened and just like what caused we haven't actually seen like the freaking nations invading the whirlpool and shit, or we haven't really seen like any prominent steel masters besides like Mito, unfortunately, or Kushina if you want to put her there as well. We haven't gotten a lot into Uzumaki lore completely. We don't know their techniques or their sealing techniques or whatever. Except for these little spurts and shit, maybe like the Reaper Death Seal potentially, is a possibility as well, who knows, but, we don't fully know, like, the full scope of the Uzumaki clan, unlike the Uchiha, the, Hyuga clans, and, of course, even a little bit of the Senju clan, concerning wood style.
Speed, Minato was too slow, and failed to stop Toby from removing the tailed beast from her. He returned her to their home, where he laid her beside their child to rest while he went to get the Nine.
The only thing that changed here was that Naruto has like Minato's face and he has red hair. What the hell?
Tails. It rampaged through the streets, trampling people and buildings alike. But Minato, gleaming like the...
Why does Naruto need to have his facial structure and his hair to change to become a prodigy?
The yellow sunrise appears when the village needs him most. And
I mean, I'll be honest though, Naruto with red hair, it's just actually it looks fucking awesome, not gonna lie. He looks awesome with red hair. But I'm not hating him for that. I'm hating because like why?
And before the beast can launch its tailed beast ball, he uses his flying Raijin technique to drag the tailed beast to another location. Having defeated Toby, he severed the connection between him and the tailed beast, setting Kurama free. Kushina, knowing that she was dead, begged Minato to seal it into her to allow her to drag it to the grave with her. Instead, Minato decided to seal it into Naruto. Kushina cried out, asking him why he would curse their child to live with such a hateful beast, but Minato was resolute. He knew that a great calamity might come if the tailed beast was killed. It could cause an imbalance not only in the balance of power between beasts, but also in nations, which could lead to another world war. Besides this, though, he knew his...
Like, why the hell are we, like, why the hell are we just, like, repeating these same events? Also, if you gave Naruto red hair, why can't you just, like, edit it and just, like, give him red hair?
Son could handle it. After all, not only was he an Uzumaki, as his red hair dictated, he was a Namikaze, just like his old man, and every ounce of Minato's potential he would squeeze into his son through a powerful wish as he sealed the beast within the infant. Be strong, my son. Protect the village. With that, the beast was sealed into Naruto, and both...
They can't even, like, make an edit of, like, Naruto's new facial structure or his red hair. They have to literally just, like, or make it... They have to, like, they're still rolling these same clips, even though Naruto should have red hair here.
Both Minato and Kushina were dead. Once the barrier was down, Naruto would be found by Hiruzen.
Look at these small details here on videos like this kind of matter a little bit. And sometimes I can skim a little bit on certain things, but the one thing I'm not skimming out on is just, like, making sure that I have, that if I'm telling a story, I can give people, like, a visual aid as to what some of those people look like, unless I don't have the resources. And, like, unfortunately, like, here, I can't, since they changed Naruto, but it'd be one thing if they didn't change Naruto so much. If that was the thing, I wouldn't care too much. But, like, they changed Naruto's facial structure, and they changed his hair color. So, like, I don't think it's, like, right to, like, do that at all. To, like, just, like, leave it, keep having this here without just, like, some form of visual aid.
Who would make sure that the child was taken care of. And so, for years, the child grew, criticized and hated 3 ways to Sunday by the people around him who should be grateful for him. But then again, who could blame them? The cycle of hatred was real, and Naruto was but a single cog in that machine, bearing the very thing they despised until they could no longer tell the difference between Kurama and Naruto.
And this entire thing fails to mention that Don's was one who spread that bullshit. Although my question is like, wouldn't there be more questions about Naruto's lineage and shit because of, like, his red hair? Like, that's something I have to also question as well.
Hiruzen in his own...
I feel like it would be, like, harder to, like, hide that there might be some relation to, like, the Uzumaki clan, considering, like, how prominent that clan is here, and Naruto actually has red hair.
Special way, and by special I mean total failure of a way, attempted to protect the child from such ostracization, but in the end, all that came about was him...
Why do you keep...
being ignored by those he needed most. And so he sought attention
actually they haven't called Naruto an it yet. Okay.
Vandalizing the place. He certainly got what he wanted by doing that. Eventually he would...
Are we really repeating the same events at the academy so far? Like, what? This does not feel like it needs a freaking section to me. It does not feel... I feel like you could just, like, briefly touch this, and then move on to the academy days.
Would enroll in the academy to become a shinobi, where he would be in the same class as Sasuke Uchiha, who would be astounded. Naruto got straight A's and perfect scores almost 9 times out of 10.
What? Well, okay, so they talk about, like, Naruto actually inheriting Minato smarts here, right? As a project. Okay, I get that. But why did you need to change his facial structure and his hair to do that? And why do I still not have a visual cue as, like, what this new Naruto looks like? 'Cause I'm, like, very confused. They called... Oh, son of a gun! They sealed the tail beat. Wait a minute.
Knew his son could handle it. After all, not only was he an Uzumaki, as his red hair dictated, he was a Namikaze, just like...
But isn't he a hybrid then? Because if he doesn't have full, like, Uzumaki chakra, Why would you be able... Why? Hold on a second. Did he seal the full Ninetales into him?
His old man, and every ounce of Minato's potential he would squeeze into his son through a powerful wish as he sealed the beast within the infant. Be strong, my son.
You sealed it in an infant! Are we fucking serious right now? Okay. Naruto was still an Uzumaki in the previous timeline. How would he still be able to, like, seal... Did he just actually seal the whole Ninetales into Naruto? If that's what he did, what is wrong with you? That's not how that works! Just because someone has red hair now does not mean that the same problems that happened in the original fucking timeline did not occur.
Protect the village. With that, the beast was sealed into Naruto, and both Minato and Kushina were dead. Once the barrier was down, Naruto...
What are you doing?
Eventually, he would enroll in the academy to become a shinobi, where he would be in the...
So why haven't multiple villages tried... Also, he has Minato's facial structure, which will probably be seen by Minato's enemies as a confirmation. That's a good point. That is a good point. I mean, the thing is that, like... That's another possibility. I don't know how many of Minato's enemies are, like, spying around the village, but that is something that was a problem with the Leaf for a decent point in time. But then again, would they actually... Many people look alike, and he also has Kushina's hair and has the last Uzumaki name. The facial structure is gonna do jack shit to the minds of Shinobi. Man, this is like, what the hell?
in the same class as Sasuke Uchiha, who would be astounded. Naruto got straight...
He's sealed... If he has Namikaze blood in him, or Minato, he's a hybrid, and at that point he's an infant, so he can't handle that as a fucking infant! What are you doing?
Straight A's and perfect scores almost 9 times out of 10. Naruto was the head of his class, and just seemed to soak up any information presented to him like a sponge. He would eventually go on to pass the exams with flying colors, becoming a genin of his very own.
But how? What? Here's the thing that I that I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so Naruto inherits his, like, father's smarts and talent, right? Why did you need to change his hair and facial structure to do that?
It's then that Mizuki plans to use him for his own gain. He tells Naruto...
Why, though? Why can't he just steal the scroll himself?
That there's a scroll that possesses incredible jutsu for him to learn if he will get it. He tells him that he's been chosen to test just how good the defenses of the Hokage's residents are, and that all he needs to do is get the scroll.
This actually feels like a decent lie, to be honest, though, so I'm not gonna complain about it too much. Like, but, although, actually, if Naruto is this smart, would he go to Iruka about this, or is there something else?
Naruto does so with incredible ease and even begins to wonder what all this is about. He looks into the scroll and sees all of the wondrous jutsu that are in it.
I'm questioning it a little bit.
But he seems to stop upon learning of Tobirama Senju's techniques. These were the ones he liked the most. However, before he could continue, Iruka shows up and demands that he hand over the scroll. Mizuki, however, attacks Iruka. This causes a conflict between the two, one that Iruka is outmatched in. After realizing that Iruka actually cared for him, Naruto would...
Well, why would their relationship be the same as in this timeline? Like, honestly, I feel like it would be better in this timeline, actually, because Naruto's actually taking initiative to be, and is actually pretty talented. So, like, why would their relationship be different? Would be, like, the same in this timeline. I feel like it would be better, actually.
Would burst into tears and resolve in himself not to let Mizuki harm him any further. Using the multi-shadow clone jutsu, Naruto would absolutely pummel Mizuki before handing the scroll back to Iruka and personally apologizing to the shinobi who would come to take it. Iruka vouches for him and Naruto is let off the hook. He's then allowed to join a shinobi team. He's assigned to Team 7, which possesses Sakura Haruno, a fact that makes Naruto very happy, and Sasuke Uchiha, which makes Naruto very unhappy.
Why would he be unhappy though if there's like a rivalry between these two? Naruto. Wait. If Naruto is talented, wouldn't there be like a rivalry forming between both him and Sasuke and shit? Like, or like when they're like they spent all that time, and Sasuke's actually taken him a lot more seriously. I mean, they spent all that time like talking about about like repeating the events from the original timeline, but they never bothered to like expand into the other shit. You know, it's just like a little bit off to me.
Naruto, together with Sasuke and Sakura, would greet their new sensei and proceed to be tested by the mysterious Kakashi. The test was simple. Get the bells from me before lunch. This test was simple enough. After probing Kakashi a bit, Naruto seems to estimate where Kakashi's upper limits might be, and then he begins to prep for the fact that it's likely far higher. Naruto knows to never underestimate his enemy, and so he begins to use shadow clones, and use the various techniques he's learned to get the upper hand. But even then, his suspicions were proven correct, and Kakashi easily dodges all of it. So Naruto begins to consider asking Sasuke and Sakura for help. Sakura is open to it, as she herself has a brain. Sasuke also has a brain, but is too prideful to accept it. So he continues on his own for a while until it's proven that he can't do it by himself in the most shameful of ways. And so he relents and decides to do things Naruto's way. They begin a three-way pincer attack, which would have Naruto come from the east, Sasuke from the west, and Sakura from above. However, this is all just a triple feint, as the first Naruto is a shadow clone, and the real Naruto will be coming up from the ground where the bells are closest. They begin to pull off the plan, and it seems to go by swimmingly. However, Kakashi senses the movement of the ground below and knows what it means. But before he jumps, he realizes that this is perfect teamwork, and instead lets Naruto take the bells. Naruto and team celebrate, but then reach the dilemma of who will have to return to the academy. Kakashi breaks it to them that nobody will, and that this was all just a test of teamwork, which they soundly passed. He then welcomes them onto the team, and
this is actually good. That's actually a good way for them to actually pass and shit. I actually like that a lot, and there's actually something that like takes things a bit seriously. So like I'll give Amagi credit for that. That was a bit creative way for them to pass.
Set off to do shinobi work, which to Naruto's surprise is just remedial work, nothing more.
There would be no Team 7. Okay, I would agree normally. Wait, actually, they almost forgot to mention who won Rookie of the Year. Naruto should be Rookie of the Year, right? Did they mention that?
By the mysterious Kakashi, and even begins to wonder what all this is about. 9 times out of 10, Naruto was the head of his class and just seemed to soak up any information presented to him like a sponge. He would eventually go on to pass the exams with flying colors, becoming a genin of his very own. It's then that Mizuki
the head of his class, so he's Rookie of the Year. So that's, but they don't bother to like talk about that. They just like talk about how he passes and shit. I feel like there's not enough attention into like Naruto just like, I don't think there's enough attention to like the significance of that, because like Naruto having that much attention on him means that he's not taken as like lightly as he is usually, and there are probably going to be a lot more fangirls onto him and shit, to be honest. So I don't know.
But before he jumps, he realizes that this is perfect teamwork, and instead,
I don't know. There doesn't seem to be I feel like there should have been a little more details over there.
Lets Naruto take the bells. Naruto and team celebrate. Just a test of teamwork, which they soundly passed. He then welcomes them onto the team, and they set off to do shinobi work, which to Naruto's surprise is just remedial work, nothing more than walking dogs and saving cats.
I'd argue that Naruto would switch teams with Kiba if he was a prodigy, which gives more chemistry between Naruto and Hinata. They're so like married to like canon and shit. It's just so annoying. Like, okay, I can be a bit married to that too, but I at least can make some certain changes and shit, such as like, oh, Kurenai and company like join Team 7 for the mission or whatever, because like Kakashi is not confident that his team can continue the mission like this, so they send him back up, or something else in between. Why is like the Amagi so married to like Team 7 and shit? They don't have to do that.
It's from trees. No, this will not stand. Naruto asks for something better, something more exciting, and so the Hokage obliges. They set off with...
And they do Tazuna again! Even though if they actually have shown better teamwork here, they actually theoretically could get a C-rank mission earlier. So, but nope, it's the Tazuna bridge building bullshit!
Tazuna to the Land of Waves, where they would encounter the Demon Bros, but, you know, Naruto just obliterates them the moment they appear. And beyond that, they encounter Zabuza, who would capture Kakashi, but with Sasuke's help, Naruto manages to trick him using a Demon Wind Shuriken, utilizing their feint technique once more to take Zabuza off guard. They manage to free Kakashi, and when it becomes obvious that he can't win, Zabuza is incapacitated by Haku. They would continue on to Kazuna's house, where they're instructed by Kakashi to work on their chakra control.
I don't even know what Naruto has here besides fucking Shadow Clones. Didn't you learn, like, more techniques from that fucking scroll? Did you learn something else in between? Or, like, is there something, like, else? No, because we don't know it, because apparently Naruto still, despite being a prodigy, has the same fucking skill set as Kanon! You can't do that!
Via walking on vertical surfaces. He asks them to climb a tree, and at first, Naruto, much like Sasuke, fails. However, he picks it up quickly.
Team 7 is made of Smart Boy and Girl, and then Dead last. Yeah, but I feel like Kakashi could find a way to, like, pull some strings for that, you know?
And ends up being the second person to learn it, leaving Sasuke in 3rd place. Sasuke is beginning to resent Naruto's...
Naruto should also have an easier time with chakra control since Kurama isn't just the worst half here, so he probably wouldn't mess with Naruto as much. That's the thing, like, the Yang half just gave him, like, way too much freaking chakra and shit. Or...
out all nature and his ability to learn and do anything and everything. They would go to the bridge to oversee its construction, and because Naruto wasn't up all hours of the night to train, he is awake to help. Zabuza and Haku appear. Here, Sasuke and Naruto are trapped in the demonic mirroring ice crystals technique. Together, they're overwhelmed by the Senbon. However, Naruto has a trick up his sleeve. After he had been told by Mizuki exactly the reason why everyone hated him, he began to do a little soul searching, and he just so happened to find that demon fox in there that he'd been told about. He began to harness that energy, going into a very rough form of the version 1 cloak, just a little above the initial Jinchuriki state. With its power, he shatters the mirrors and overpowers Haku, putting him on...
Wait, what?
A little soul searching, and he just so happened to find that demon fox in there that he'd been told about. He began...
So, he willingly goes inside, but we don't know what Kurama this is, or why he's helping him out, you know? Well, we don't get an interaction between these two, we just get, like, we get a gloss over. Is Kurama different since he apparently has the full Nine Tails in his would've? No. Well, why not? Well, because we don't bother with these fucking details. Well, you probably fucking should, you know? You probably should if you're making content like this, because you should be doing a better fucking job communicating to your audience the different interactions here. Otherwise, you just literally gave Naruto the fucking label prodigy, and yet you're not showing off the actual differences, except for, oh wow, Naruto has red hair and a different facial structure now. Whoa!
began to harness that energy, going into a very rough form of the version 1 cloak, just a little above the initial Jinchuriki state. With its power, he shatters the mirrors and overpowers Haku, putting him on the ground as quickly as possible. Naruto still doesn't know what will happen the more he uses this power, and so he doesn't want to use it too much and put everyone at risk. He holds Haku down, and Kakashi kills Zabuza. Haku is destroyed by this, but what's even worse is when Gato and his men arrive. Gato holds Tsunami and Inari hostage, while his men
I'm glad that wasn't glossed over.
abuse the body of Zabuza. This offends both Naruto and Haku. Haku will have his revenge.
Oh, Haku actually survives.
He goes about killing Gato's men, and while Gato is distracted by that, Naruto swoops in and frees Tsunami and Inari, helping them escape. Haku would manage to kill Gato's men, and later Gato himself. After this, and after a short talk about their reasonings and why they believed what they did, Naruto would offer to bring Haku back to Konoha with him. However, Haku declines and goes on his way. The bridge is then called the Great Naruto Bridge for the incredible feats he
Well, that's at least somewhat of a difference.
did while on it. This further
But
causes...
wait, why wouldn't Haku be able to, like, do what he did in the original timeline?
He holds Haku down, and Kakashi kills Zabuza.
Oh, because Naruto holds him down?
Haku is destroyed by this
What?
as possible. Naruto still doesn't know what will happen the more he uses this power, and so he doesn't want to use it too much and put everyone at risk. He holds Haku down, and Kakashi kills Zabuza. Haku
I don't, like... What? Why wouldn't Haku go with Naruto? Yeah, that's true too. Why wouldn't Haku go with Naruto? I mean, holding him down, like, I'm trying to, like, I mean, I have so many questions here. Like, well, actually, maybe it was just, like, incidental and shit, just, like, trying to stop him from moving, but, like, Haku was, okay, I could buy that.
is destroyed
But, like, why isn't Haku going with Naruto? Because, like, what purpose does he really have?
by this, but what's even worse is when Gato and his men swoops in and frees
Are we just never gonna see Haku again? Because when you could have actually given Haku some time as a character and shit?
Tsunami and Inari, helping them escape. It is then called the Great Naruto Bridge for the incredible feats he did while on it. This further causes about their reasonings and why they believed what they did. Naruto would offer to bring Haku back to Konoha with him. However, Haku declines and goes on his way. The bridge is then called
Why? But why though? What? Like why? Like, you can't just gloss over that. Like, what purpose does Haku really have? Like they could, like, what, like, why, like, what would he do? What would he do? Just, like, travel alone and shit? I mean, maybe, but that's just, like, boring. Like, like, why can't and also, like, there is a clear friendship between the two now, so, like, why not just, like, bring Haku to Konoha? It doesn't make fucking sense.
The Great Naruto Bridge for the incredible feats he did while on it. This further causes Sasuke to resent Naruto, as he just seems to be getting stronger and stronger, leaving him in the dust. Eventually, the time of the Chunin exams rolls around, and Naruto, who was already growing bored of the return to seemingly meaningless work, is just itching to be a part of it. Considering the nature of his group, Kakashi decides that maybe it is best to allow them to do it. After all, they had more than proven themselves during the mission to the Land of Waves, and so they're offered the choice to, which they all decide upon together. They go to enter the Chunin exams, but are stopped by Rock Lee. Rumors abound about the red-hot flash of the Leaf and his exploits. Lee just has to do it. So the two fight, but Lee seems to be quick. He's utilizing his 8 Gates technique, and so Naruto calls upon some of Kurama's power to boost his own speed and power, which allows him to move at the same speeds, if not
Oh my god!
faster than Lee. This results in a pretty equal tie until Guy Sensei shows up to stop it. Lee would be punished for what he had been doing, and Naruto and the rest of Team 7, now completely weirded
So Naruto has better control of the Nine Tails here. But we don't know how this Kurama acts in this timeline, except he apparently just gives Naruto chakra power-ups. You know what? I'm really this close to just about quitting.
out by the strange relationship
I'm really this close to rage quit this video.
between Guy and Lee, decide to skip out on them and continue to the Chunin exams registry. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 begin with the first part of the exam, the written test. Naruto actually likes Sakura
You should teach this guy how we do well doing Naruto, but do it right. I consider that.
manages to answer many of the questions correctly, but honestly, none of that really matters, as the only question worth
Because if they did, they would allow Haku to come and bring Haku and just make him a Chunin or Genin. I would say maybe Genin, considering Haku doesn't have a lot of registration shit. But, like, honestly, Haku would probably become a Chunin pretty quickly.
taking is the last one, and that one is automatically correct if you merely choose to answer it. And spoilers, Naruto chooses to answer it, because not only is he an egghead and a prodigy, he's also gutsy. Moving on to the second exam, he is in the Forest of Death with his team, and guess what? He was smart enough to go potty before he began the second exam. However, all of this is about moot when they find Orochimaru, who still incapacitates them both. Sasuke he brands with a curse mark, and Naruto he adds the 5-element seal to. This puts them both under for a while. From here, most of the forest
Okay, so we can't, like, have Naruto come in and wait for them to escape or some shit. They just have to, like, this just gets glossed over and shit. I mean, Naruto is a prodigy in this kind of timeline. They can't find a way to escape in this timeline. I mean, it's logical, I think, but I just don't know if, like, but if Sasuke's still gonna get the curse mark and shit, then, like, what the hell is the point of Naruto becoming a prodigy?
Forest of Death happens the same. Sasuke and Naruto are out, Sakura guards them until they wake up,
But, like, if Kurama's more than willing to give Naruto chakra and shit, though, in this timeline, why can't Kurama just give enough chakra for them to escape at the very least? Like, I don't understand, like, what's hard about this. You gotta consider all these factors and shit, and, like, no. You just keep marrying yourself to canon.
Sasuke breaks that guy's arms, and they get the scroll and go to the tower at the center of the map. It's there that they go through the third part of the Chunin exams, the exhibition matches, but there are too many participants, so they gotta cull them using the preliminaries. And wouldn't you know it, Sakura gets culled. So does Ino. I guess both were equal levels of pathetic. Sasuke faces off against
Also,
Yoroha,
why wouldn't I just realized Sakura would not want... I don't think Sakura would like being so behind two prodigies, and would actually be somewhat want to try to find a way to, like, look to get stronger and shit, because originally she didn't like how she was falling behind Naruto and Sasuke in the first place, but, like, now she's, like, very behind these two, and I feel like that would bother her a lot more, to the point she'd actually try to get stronger. But so if they actually have her tie with Ino again, I'm about to lose it.
due to the fact that he's been branded by Orochimaru's curse mark, if he attempts to use his chakra, he loses control. It has already been stated that if he loses control, he's automatically out of the exams, and so he needs to do this with just taijutsu. After having watched Lee's moves against Naruto, Sasuke copies some of those taijutsu skills and forms the Lion combo, which he uses to defeat Yoroi. He then
Lion's Barrage!
gets his seal, well, sealed by Kakashi to keep it from waking up. Naruto would then proceed to face off against Kiba, where he soundly beats him in a way likely not involving flatulence. Funny as it was, Naruto here doesn't need such petty moves, he's a prodigy. They then get a month off to rest and train for the next
What? What happened with Sakura and Ino's match?
the exhibition matches, but there are too many participants, so they gotta cull them using the preliminaries. And wouldn't you know it, Sakura gets culled. So does Ino. I guess both were equal levels of pathetic. Sasuke faces off
What? Okay, yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Cannot watch this shit. I cannot. Why? What is the fucking point here? How the fuck is Prodigy Naruto weaker than other Homunculus? I have no fucking idea. I'm out of here. I'm taking a nap. But this is just so bad.